The world watched as Prince Harry traded his crown for California, believing he found freedom. He was wrong. Montecito wasn't an escape, it was the private, high-stakes theater for a calculated and devastating betrayal he allegedly never saw coming. This isn't just a breakup story, this is about the quiet war fought behind those closed gates, a collapse where every vulnerability was weaponized, every secret became a headline, and the truth of what she was allegedly planning all along is finally being exposed. This is the truth Harry has reportedly carried, and it's worse than anyone guessed. If you want to stay updated as these bombshells continue to drop, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now. Let's begin with the first strike, the leak that shattered the last of Harry's private life. Forget the headlines about charity, duty, or palace gossip. The real devastation began with a whisper that cut straight to the bone. It was a leak so personal, so humiliating, that seasoned royal reporters hesitated when the story broke. We're talking about alleged private medical details, specifically Harry's supposed hair loss treatments, finasteride and minoxidil, and their rumored side effects. This wasn't just a story about hair, this was an exposure of the kind of vulnerabilities no man once made public, mood shifts, emotional swings, and, according to insiders, performance issues that struck right at the heart of a man's pride. Harry's deepest insecurity became the world's punchline overnight, and here is the key question. How did the world see something only an insider could know? Sources claimed the finger pointed directly at Meghan Markle, the person who knew his routine, the scent of his shampoo, and the contents of his bathroom cabinet. The language surrounding the leak was soft. It spoke of concerned friends and Harry changing, hinting that the intimacy had faded because of him. But beneath that kindness was a blade. She didn't just reveal his insecurity. Sources allege she framed it, packaged it, and handed it to the world as a headline waiting to explode. For Harry, it was allegedly a war fought with the very secrets he thought were safe. But that private humiliation was just the start. The next phase of her alleged strategy was even more calculated. Once the medical leak hit the press, the pattern revealed itself quickly. This wasn't about Harry's health, it was about control, a mastery of narrative timing Meghan allegedly understood better than anyone. This is the person who built her public identity on precision, crafting every moment from Hollywood actress to duchess with uncanny instinct. So, when the marriage allegedly began to fracture, she didn't yell or confront. Instead, sources claim she redirected the spotlight entirely. She allegedly began laying the groundwork long before Harry ever caught on. But how did she manage to control the world's perception so effortlessly? She never suggested, "I'm leaving." Instead, she allegedly whispered to confidants that something was profoundly wrong with him, that Harry was distant, that he was different, no longer the man she married. These were tiny, calculated fragments that, when stitched together, painted one picture: a heartbroken wife failed by a weakening husband. The headlines followed that script exactly. Meghan remained polished, calm, and misunderstood, while Harry became the frail, cracking figure. It didn't matter what the truth was. What mattered was who told the story first. Behind closed doors, Harry wasn't just losing his marriage, he was losing the narrative of his own life. The same woman who once held his deepest secrets was now allegedly using them as ammunition, and each public revelation was a brutal reminder that privacy in her hands was not intimacy, it was just the price of admission for the next shocking act. If the medical leak wounded Harry publicly, this alleged secret weapon was designed to destroy him privately. We are talking about the rumor of the video vault. According to multiple sources, Meghan didn't just save messages or emails as leverage. She allegedly kept private footage, clips recorded during their most vulnerable, intimate moments. Imagine Harry passed out after nights he'd rather forget. Harry stumbling through a private party. Harry allegedly at his lowest, captured on camera when the world assumed he was healing. These were moments never meant for anyone's eyes but theirs, and the chilling detail is that sources claim she showed some of these clips to friends. But why would she risk exposing this to outsiders? It wasn't to ask for help or gain sympathy. Insiders say it was a quiet, brutal flex, a way to remind Harry exactly how much of his life was in her hands. This alleged private library of a prince's worst moments, sitting ready on a phone, was not just leverage, it was a countdown to utter devastation. Sources claim Harry began living in fear of what might surface next, knowing every cold glance and every argument came with the knowledge that one more clip could hit the press. The worst part is he had no idea how many there were. But that agonizing fear was built on a foundation that had crumbled long before the camera phones were allegedly turned on. Long before the leaks, before the threats, before the quiet war began, their extravagant California home had already changed dramatically. What the world thought was a fairy tale escape had reportedly turned into a quiet battlefield. Sources close to the couple say that after their second child, everything went cold. It wasn't a dramatic shouting match, it was the kind of deep, chilling cold that settles into a house like fog. The passion that once electrified their public appearances faded behind those gates. Insiders claim that date nights disappeared, late-night laughter evaporated, and the couple who seemed inseparable now moved like co-workers sharing an expensive office. Meghan allegedly buried herself in projects that kept her in control of her image, and Harry, he buried himself in survival, desperately clinging to the hope that the warmth he once felt might return. Sources say he felt rejected and sidelined long before any private detail hit the press. But Meghan, they claim, felt distinctly bored. The fire that fueled their whirlwind romance was gone, and instead of trying to mend what was breaking, sources allege she quietly began planning the exit, carefully, methodically, just the way she planned everything else. Because in this version of the story, she doesn't get left, she leaves. Harry was unaware of the massive storm gathering, clinging to a marriage that had already begun to crumble from within. But even that betrayal would pale in comparison to the final seismic whisper that rocked the foundation of the royal line. After the fractured marriage, the leaks, the humiliation, and the video vault rumors, only then did the most explosive allegation surface. This was a whisper that emerged in the late game, a dangerous lit match in the dry forest of royal tradition. Sources claimed that Meghan never carried the children herself. According to one alleged insider, even a medical professional suggested the use of surrogates. And while the transcript provides no concrete proof, the implications alone were seismic. In Britain, lineage is not gossip, it is law. It is the very foundation of identity and history. If this rumor were even remotely possible, it would constitute a royal-level crisis that the palace never wanted raised. It cast sudden, shocking doubt on legitimacy and the honesty of a woman who had publicly built her brand on healing and transparency. Meghan had a narrative ready: privacy, health, protection. But for Harry, sources claim it left him utterly rattled. Imagine the man who vowed to give his children the childhood he lost, now wrestling with the possibility that parts of his own family's story had been hidden from him all along. It was the final devastating fracture. It didn't just shake their marriage, it shook the very foundations of Harry's reality, setting up the final brutal truth of who truly won the war.
This is where the entire agonizing narrative comes full circle. At its core, this was not the story of a prince betrayed or a duchess escaping. It was the brutal, calculated reality of two people living two fundamentally different truths, until the canyon between them became too vast to cross. Imagine Harry now, a man who once abandoned the throne for love, believing he had finally found freedom. He traded castles for California, titles for peace, and protocol for passion. And yet he stands here today, allegedly stripped of the very things he thought he protected: his privacy, his dignity, and his sense of self. Every secret he entrusted reportedly became a headline, every vulnerability a weapon, every private moment turned into a rumor waiting for release. And Meghan, poised, polished, already moving forward. Her alleged leaks, her receipts, her carefully crafted reinvention, each one a souvenir from a story she controlled from the very first moment. Because in this chilling version of events, she didn't fight to stay, she fought to win. The prince who ran from the crown to build a new life watched that life collapse beneath him, and the duchess who once stood beside him walked away untouched, her narrative secure. In the end, this wasn't a love story. It was a lesson in power, in control, and the unspoken, devastating truth that the person who tells the story owns the story.